It is 6:30 p.m. and I call to order the Tuesday, July 7th, Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. There is a quorum present. First item of business is approval of the minutes for June 23rd, 2026 special called meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Aram, second by Jack. Vote now. Motion carries 7-0. The first item of business is a public hearing. Consideration of three, it's a regular hearing, not a public hearing. Consideration of three alternative standards associated with landscape standards and building materials in the I-35E corridor overlay core subdistrict on .5211 acres located at 1844 North Stemmons Freeway, legally described as Justwood Edition, Lot 1, Block A, Zone General Business, as requested by Mazrahul Islam, and I hope I did not butcher that name, of Civil Urban Associates, LLC, on behalf of the property owner, Myosin Investments, LLC, case number 2604-5, alt standards. Hi.
Hi. Good evening, commissioners. Floor and More is an existing business in Lewisville that's located off the northbound portion of the I-35 highway. The property owner approached the city about expanding, expanding the existing building footprint and doing some improvements to the site. As a result of the improvement, they're requesting three alternative standards, two of which are associated with landscaping and one with building materials to accommodate the existing conditions. The first alternative standard is to allow parking within the minimum required landscaping strip. Within the I-35 core subdistrict, there needs to be a 20-foot landscape strip. However, due to constraints on the site and the need to accommodate minimum parking as well as required fire lane, the most logical place for the parking to go is within the front where that landscape strip would be. There will be two landscape islands on the side, but in order to accommodate, that's where the parking will need to go. The second is to reduce the required number of trees on site from 7 to 4. This also has to do with existing site constraints, being both with the I-35, the highway to the south of the site, and then there's also a 30-foot ingress and egress easement on the eastern portion, southeastern portion, that would prevent the ability to plant trees there. So the applicant is recommending 4 trees, which they can safely accommodate to the rear of the site, as seen above. The last alternative standard is to reduce the 80% brick or stone requirement that is also associated with the core subdistrict of the I-35 overlay. As previously mentioned, let's see if I can zoom out. Having some trouble there, but as previously mentioned, a portion of this building is already existing and the existing facade is made of 100% CMU. The new addition, they're proposing to accommodate the minimum brick or stone requirement on the front facade, which will be facing I-35. It will be nearly 100% stone, but on the east and west portions, which if we go up here, you see will not be as visible from right-of-way. They're proposing about a 15% mix of stone with the rest of it being CMU. And then on the rear of the property, which is completely obscured from right-of-way with existing trees, they're proposing 100% CMU. In this case, staff does not see any issues with this, especially as it would match the existing facade. And so for all 3 alternative standards, we are recommending that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have questions?
I have a question about the status of the TxDOT right-of-way that it's going to be facing.
Yes.
That's not as high, it shouldn't be as high speed as it is, but is there any concern from TxDOT on having the parking front that?
Yeah, at the moment, I haven't heard anything. They, I believe as a part of their engineering site plan, they needed to get some TxDOT permission for like the driveways. So, but I haven't heard anything on that front. Additionally, within our code, we do allow we do allow parking to be in front of the building near 35. Just the case with this one is that since it would be within that required 20-foot landscape strip, that's why an alternative standard is allowed. But we have provisions in the code to allow it be close to the highway.
Just as imperfect as my interpretation of the diagram was, the placement of the tire stop may be really important to assess.
Of the which part?
Of those parking places, the tire stops.
Oh, right, yeah.
If somebody backs in, they may extend further out than anticipated.
Gotcha.
Interesting point.
Especially as pickup trucks.
You get rid of exactly.
Yeah, the extended bed F-150s,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Any other questions, commissioners?
I guess, sorry, just to your point there, and it might be a little hard to see. I believe this is this is showing 9 foot. So there's the landscaping strip or the landscape island that they're adding here, but there's already existing landscaping on the other side of where these shrubs are that extends a little over 9 feet.
Okay, so it's not curbed up against.
Yeah, it wouldn't be completely within, so I wouldn't imagine, unless someone has a really long bed, but I don't imagine they're going.
Yeah, and speeding isn't a problem along this portion of the 35 service road, since it's so close to Lake Park.
Okay. I misread the diagram. Thank you.
No worries.
If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the alternative standards as presented.
Motion by Rick, second by Ainsley. You may vote. Motion carries 7-0.
Commissioners,
I'm
this
sorry.
item will be considered by the City Council, who will make a final decision on Monday, August the 3rd, 2026 at 7:00 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Next is a public hearing. Consider an ordinance amending Article 3, Development and Zoning Procedures of Volume 2 of the Lewisville City Code, known as the Unified Development Code, by amending Chapter 3.6, Zoning Petitions and Procedures, to clarify and streamline the zoning petition process, including appeals and align notification procedures with the state statutes, amending Chapter 3.10, zoning regulation text amendments and procedures to broaden its application to all text amendments to the Unified Development Code and to clarify and streamline the text amendment process, including appeals, and align notification procedures with the state statutes, and delete Chapter 3.11, procedures for all other text amendments, providing for a savings clause, repealer, severability, a penalty, and an effective date.
Good evening, Commissioners. So the purpose of our these text amendments are primarily to make sure we're in alignment with state statutes, as you read, but also to make sure that we can simplify the process as much as possible when it comes to zone change procedures and text amendments. And so really, to give you a summary of what these text amendments and this ordinance would do is they would mirror the requirements for website posting from state ordinance and our code, as well as property sign dimensions, which were a little bit different. They didn't have sign requirements before, but now they do with a minimum sign requirement. We had a sign requirement, but now we're adding that same minimum size to be consistent. And then we are also modifying the text to allow the advertising period, so the public hearing notification period for P&Z and the city council to overlap. This is something that we had done in the past, so we might send the notification for the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then typically it's about a month till city council. But if it's a high priority item or an item that's very straightforward it makes a big difference to the applicant, and if staff has capability to make sure that we're prepared for city council and then quickly turning that around from the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation, this gives us the ability to have it basically P&Z and then 2 weeks later city council. So it can streamline things for our applicants, but it would not be used as a default method because it does take a lot more staff time and effort to make sure we're turning that around effectively and correctly, but we do want to have that tool back when it's appropriate. The second thing it does is we had 2 text amendment processes in the UDC. We have for text amendments that are zoning related and other types of text amendments, but those processes are substantially similar, so we're combining it into one process, and that way we're following the stricter process for everything. That's just more notification and transparency, but it also makes it easier for staff. We're not going to accidentally use the wrong process for the wrong text amendment. And so that kind of clarifies and simplifies things in the Unified Development Code. The notifications there are simply publication in the newspaper before P&Z and then before City Council for any kind of text amendment. If anything is going to be made non-conforming, if there's an existing business that would be made non-conforming, the state statute and the regulation still applies that we have to notify those business owners and property owners individually by mail. So we will continue to do that as well. We also refine and clarify the supermajority vote requirement. So that's required if the Planning and Zoning Commission recommends denial of a project, it requires a supermajority of the City Council to approve it. But also if there's a petition against the rezoning request by impacted property owners, and that's going to be either 20 or 60% depending on the specific type of request, that would also trigger a supermajority vote of the City Council. And so we've clarified kind of what those petitions are and how people can submit them. We've never really had anything reach that level where it would trigger a supermajority vote by council, but it's nice to have those policies and procedures in place just in case that does ever happen. And then we also did clarify the ability for tabling an application or withdrawing one. Oftentimes this is done at the request of the applicant. We've gone ahead and codified our standard practice, which is if we haven't published the notice of the public hearing yet, if we haven't said that we're having the hearing on this date, staff will go ahead and honor the applicant's request to withdraw or reschedule to a later meeting. If we have published the hearing notification when the applicant makes the request, then it becomes the prerogative of either the Planning and Zoning Commission or the City Council, whoever is applicable, to decide whether you want to grant them that request to table the item or if you want to go ahead and have your hearing and make your decision. So that is really just codifying what we've been doing just to make it clear and straightforward. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have, and staff's recommendation tonight is that you recommend approval of the ordinance as presented.
Commissioners, questions?
Michelle, I have a question about the first bullet on the second page regarding the overlap of the advertising periods. Mm-hmm. Does that do anything to our ability to table an item without it conflicting with the council's timeline?
And this is why another reason why we don't use that too much, because it doesn't take away your ability to table the item. You absolutely still can table the item. It does make more work for us to kind of reconfigure that item for City Council and have it posted on the agenda that this item's been withdrawn. We publish a public hearing, so we have to have it on the agenda, but we also have to let people know we're actually not going to talk about it. So it does create kind of a ripple effect, but if that's the good decision to make, it does not take away your ability to do that.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, Commissioners? In that case, I will open the public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak on this item may come forward. State your name and address, please, and we'll be happy to hear from you. Having no one come forward, I will close the public hearing. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to recommend approval of amendments as presented.
Motion by Joshua,
Second.
second by Jack. You may vote. Motion carries 7-0.
Commissioners, this item will be considered by the City Council on Monday, August the 3rd, 2026, where they will hold a second public hearing and make a final decision, and that will be at 7 o'clock p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item of business is also a public hearing. A consideration of an ordinance granting a special use permit for a smoking establishment on a portion of approximately 1.828 acre tract legally described as Lot 3R1, Block C, High Point Oaks, located at 2680 Denton Tap Road, zoned Light Industrial District, as requested by Nahid Villani, the applicant, on behalf of the Hilltop Corner LLC, the property owner. Case number 26-05-8 SUP.
Good evening, Commissioners. Marhaba Lounge is a proposed business in Lewisville looking to be a hookah lounge. Therefore, they require a special use permit for a smoking establishment. The managing partners are committed to making sure that their business is not a nuisance or public safety concern. In their narrative letter, they have outlined several of the ways that they will be mitigating some of the past issues other hookah lounges in Lewisville have run into. This includes IDing all customers to make sure that only those 21 plus will be participating, though those under 21 will still be able to sit and enjoy the food that they will also offer. Light refreshments, I should specify. They will also be installing a ventilation system that is up to code with our building code and fire code requirements. Additionally, they are committed to maintaining the atmosphere as relaxing and not encouraging any sort of dancing or partying by ensuring that there will not be a dance floor and that there is no DJ booth. There will be like regular background music, but that which is consistent with what is in a restaurant or any other establishment. And they will have TVs for patrons to enjoy, but again, more as a background versus anything large and partying. All of these conditions will be outlined in the ordinance. The original recommendation was to table it as staff continue to do some research, but after discussing with the applicant and confirming with our police department that there was no prior incidences related to this property owner or the business owners, staff is recommending that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval as presented. I'm here for any additional questions as well as the applicants.
Commissioners, questions? Since there are no questions, I will open the public hearing. Anyone who wishes to come forward and speak, please do. We would love to hear from you. Please state your name and your address. Good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Nahid Villani. I'm here for any questions.
Questions of the applicant? I do appreciate this a lot.
You.
This helps me understand things that are new to me.
Thank you.
No questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here. Having no one else come forward, I will close the public hearing. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to recommend approval of the special use permit.
Second.
Motion by Joshua, second by Francesca. A vote? Motion carries 6-1.
Commissioners, this item will be considered by the City Council, who will hold a second public hearing and make a final decision on Monday, August the 3rd, 2026 at 7 o'clock p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item of business is selection of a chair and a vice chair. As I am ready to vacate this chair, I would like to nominate Aram Ali for chair.
I second that.
It's not popping up.
Oh.
Motion by Karen and second by Francesca. There it comes. And you may vote. Motion carries 7-0. Here you go, madam.
Okay, what about vice chair, though?
You get to do that because you're now the chairman.
Oh, okay.
That was a nice handoff.
That was a nice handoff. Thanks for the warning. All right, I guess then we need to select a vice chair. I will entertain. I mean, I would love for you just to flip places with me.
I would do that.
Does anybody else want to throw their name into the ring, or are we okay with Karen being vice chair?
I'll step up if nobody else is interested.
Oh, and the plot thickens. Okay, somebody needs to make a motion.
Well, you made a motion.
Okay.
How do we
does
do this
work?
when
Can
somebody,
we repeat
there's
the motion
two,
so that we can,
but there's one motion? Someone needs to make a motion, yeah.
I mean, I made a motion for Karen to switch and be vice chair. Are you interested? I mean, I guess I need
Is
to
there a
ask her if
second?
she's,
There's a second.
Yeah, that original motion is still on the floor, so,
Then I second that motion.
okay.
okay.
Karen.
Good, so we've moved and seconded.
Okay, so the motion on the floor was made by Aram to nominate Karen Locke, and it was seconded by Francesca. So now you'll need to call for a vote.
Okay. Please vote. All right, motion passes 7-0. Yay. Thank you, everybody. Do we have any announcements?
No announcements.
No announcements? All righty, then with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Oh, sorry,
Oh.
Joshua.
Okay, motion by Josh, I guess seconded by Francis?
Sure. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
It's
Everybody
easier when you
vote,
get this screen.
All right.
and we are adjourned, 7-0. Thank you, everybody.
excellent.